is my great pleasure to welcome you to the first Performance Wellness online course at the New School. I look forward to meeting you through your posts and voice threads, videos and photos, and even in the classroom. Before we get started on requirements for the Performance Wellness class, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about how we actually got started with Performance Wellness. It all began in 1985 when I was a graduate student at NYU in music therapy. We had the first international congress on stress and the performing arts, and I was invited to be a speaker on how to use music therapy for helping musicians. At that time, I was also a jazz musician and was very much aware of the kinds of stresses that jazz musicians experienced in the community, and really concerned about it too. At the conference, I learned that it wasn't just jazz musicians who had stress-related issues, but musicians from all walks of life, particularly classical musicians. And I was absolutely horrified to see the kinds of injuries and addictions and other kinds of stress-related disorders that musicians experienced. Being a music therapist and seeing music as a healing art, how could it be that the actual practitioner of music was suffering? It didn't make sense to me. So at that point, I became very, very motivated to want to help musicians in preventing and treating the kinds of disorders that they suffered. I wrote a grant to see if I could get some research money to look at what the issues are and to try to find a way of helping them through a music therapy approach. I was very, very fortunate to receive significant funding to do a whole research program on music therapy for musicians at NYU. And over a 3-year period, I was able to develop an intervention that was clinically proven to help musicians to overcome anxiety and other kinds of stress-related disorders, and also to improve their musicality. This study was then replicated with a whole other group of musicians, and we found that the results were stable. We were able to really help musicians to get back to their original joy of playing music and to play with confidence and joy. Once I was able to publish these results of my research, I found that conservatories and orchestras and musicians from all over the world were really curious about my performance wellness approach. And I was invited to conferences and meetings and different kinds of events all over the world to share my research and my research approach to healing musicians. And at that point, I decided that I really couldn't do all of it on my own, and I developed a 3-level certificate training program in performance wellness and began training teachers and music therapists and other clinicians around the world in the performance wellness approach so that they can then share the approach with their students and their clients and other people that were working with performers. Around the same time, I opened up the performance wellness approach for the Board of Ed here in New York City. And I thought that to get teachers that work with musicians very early in their lives to learn the performance wellness techniques, that they would be able to prevent the kinds of issues that professional musicians deal with later in life. It really surprised me in working with the Board of Ed that it wasn't just the arts teachers that wanted to train with me. it was the general education teachers. They shared with me that being a teacher in itself was very stressful, and also that their students every day were grappling with stress-related issues. So at that point, I realized that performance wellness was not just for the performer on stage. It was for people that perform from all walks of life: teachers, lawyers, mothers, other kinds of performers, health professionals. And so the 3-level certificate program really took off. And now there are performance wellness trainers all over the world working with populations from all walks of life. And so you now will be learning the performance wellness approach, and hopefully it will change your life for the better. And hopefully then you will be able to share what you learn in this course with your loved ones, and hopefully in your career with your colleagues and clients. So I want to take a few minutes now to talk about the requirements of the Performance Wellness Seminar and also the course objectives. So I'll start with the course objectives. We're going to learn the underlying issues and causes of performance-related disorders. Then you'll learn how music and other arts modalities can be used as self-reflecting transformational tools to foster wellness in everyday life. You'll learn the clinically proven tools for treating and preventing performance-related disorders that I learned about and clinically tested through my research at NYU. And finally, I'll provide you with tools for creating a daily wellness practice for you to maximize your own performance and to live a healthy and balanced life. Now, the expectations that I have for you in this course are as follows. I'd like you to use yourself as your own research subject in seeing how these performance wellness techniques work for you. Which are the ones that work best? Which are the ones that you don't think are the best tools for you? Second, be curious and playful in approaching and practicing the performance wellness techniques. Be curious about the process also of your classmates as you go through this course. You're going to get to know your fellow classmates very intimately through our shares and videos and whatever else that you're posting over the course of the class. I'd also like you to complete your home practice charts and assignments as best you can. This class is truly about you, and what you put into the class, you will get out of the class. So home practice is a very big part of the assignment of this particular class. Use your journal to keep track of your process of self-discovery and transformation. And reach out if you need help. Don't feel that your uncomfortability or whatever issues you have that come up during this process, don't feel that you're alone. I'm always here for you to answer any questions. And finally, relate what you learn in this course to your daily life and performance. Don't be afraid to use what you learn instantly. You don't have to be an expert in performance wellness to make it a huge catalyst for change in your life. So that is the requirements for the course. And I look so forward to working with you and getting to know you, and we will begin very soon. Thank you for tuning in.